Welcome to our full review of Little Nightmares 2, the sequel to the smash hit horror puzzler by Tarsier Games.
Gamer Braves!
This is Juan Amaral from Gamer Braves, and don't forget to like this video. Once this video hits 1k likes, we'll plan even more Little Nightmares content based on what you guys want to see. So, Little Nightmares 2 has a lot of the same of what made the original such a beloved title. The gameplay is relatively simple. You move along the screen interacting with objects, but even though it looks 2D, you can move forwards and back to interact with it. The game even takes place after the events of the first Little Nightmares, after the original protagonist, Six, escapes the submarine. This time, you're not playing as Six. Instead, you're playing as the bag-headed Mono, whose hats can be customized at any time via the start menu. You do rescue Six at the start of the game, but she's AI controlled and opens up a new dimension to the game's puzzles. Instead of just relying on your ability to grab, duck and the like, you can now work together with Six. She can hoist you up certain ledges, or push with you to make previously unpushable objects pushable with the power of teamwork. She's especially helpful in the stealth sections, since people like me are too busy being scared to realize where all the good hiding spots are. Thankfully, Six will run to them as well, letting you know where's a good place to hide. This has two problems though. The first one is that it makes the segments of the game without Six that much harder, since you're used to relying on her for cues of what to do next. The other problem is that if you're not paying attention to Six, the game can seem awfully inconsistent. There's a portion just after the hunter where you're meant to run up to Six, and she catches you at the last second. Thanks to the character's weird proportions, her arm jutting out the edge really doesn't change all that much. It's entirely possible to fail this part even though you did things correctly. And it feels like the game almost pulls this out of its ass because Mono's jump was never good enough to clear that gap, even with Six holding her arm out. It's a minor gripe because, like I said, having Six with you is brilliant. I'm so glad we moved beyond terrible escort quests and are in the golden era of the extra character is brilliant. So, the first thing I need to lead with in Little Nightmares is that the atmosphere in these games is amazing. I don't tend to like horror games thanks to my poor stress management, but even I have to appreciate the lengths this game goes to making you feel out of your element. Like the name implies, it's got this weird dreamlike feel to it. Everything feels surreal, but not in an excessively try-hard way. You think you're used to things like the adults being bigger than you, then bam, the teacher's neck extends like she's a Kezu. I think anyone who's gone to public school is familiar with the kind of dread you feel hearing furious chalkboard scribbling followed by silence. There's also this game's main locale, the Pale City. This place is freaky with just how empty it is. No spoilers, but it's super terrifying that there's all these clothes just lying around. You also have the recurring theme of TVs in this game. You're dealing with mysterious broadcasts from out of the radio tower, and the imagery of just this singular TV in the middle of the night is downright unsettling. I'm not kidding when I say this is probably the first horror game in a while to actually terrify me. That's just the visuals too, we haven't even gone into the sound. I really like that it keeps things simple, mostly using string instruments to ramp up the tension. This is especially present in the school and makes running from the teacher just all that much more terrifying. Also, we need to talk about sucking at this game. I really implore anyone trying out this game to die whenever possible because some of these death screens are terrifying. Like I said, this game is nightmare fuel but without any of the cliches of horror. I especially hate the death via the bullies in the school because there's nothing that brings up repressed school trauma like learning firsthand why that Gym Class Heroes album is called As Cruel as School Children. One thing I both love and hate is that fighting back is sometimes an option in this game. Mono will hit back with various tools, leading to absolutely brutal results. On one hand, it feels great being able to attack the tiny enemies coming after you when the game lets you. On the other hand, expect your game time to go up massively if you constantly decide to wake up and choose violence. Fighting back isn't the norm here, so don't go around expecting to throw hands constantly. One gripe that's more player focused than game focused is the pacing in this game. It is slow by design. I can't imagine what speedruns are going to look like, because the game is constantly in control of its own pacing, forcing you to stand still and be patient. Again, I'm not complaining, that's the game's rules. But considering how much of the game stresses you out, expect to be frustrated as you get punished for just trying to book it to the next room when you were supposed to wait. There's also the case of the game's controls, which can do with a bit of polish. Sometimes grabbing ledges can feel weird, and the game's pseudo 2D camera perspective certainly doesn't help. This isn't nearly game breaking, but you notice it when it does get in the way, and it's an easy scapegoat for when you've died for the umpteenth time in the same area. Little Nightmares 2 gets a 7.5 out of 10 from us. The game is a total blast for anyone seeking the thrill of a good horror game. It keeps you on the edge of your seat with its absolutely stress-inducing visuals and mix of stealth and puzzle gameplay. Seriously, horror is all about atmosphere first, and Little Nightmares 2 has it in spades. It doesn't need its gore and violence, it'd still be just as creepy. It's even used sparingly enough that even the actual shock of deaths feels that much more potent. Still, it can feel unfair because it lacks openness, meaning if you're not thinking by the game's logic, you're in for a frustrating time. If you are a horror fan, I'd definitely recommend picking this one up when Little Nightmares 2 creeps onto PC, Nintendo Switch, PS5, Xbox Series X, as well as their past-gen versions on February 11th. Which Little Nightmares 2 area is your favorite? We wanna know. And don't forget to get this video to 1k likes if you want more Little Nightmares 2 content. This has been Juan Amarillo from Gamer Braves. Sweet dreams, guys.